Hey everyone, welcome to Meeple Bits. Thanks for joining me today. In today's how-to, we're going to tackle the game Boss Monster, published by Brother Wise Games for 2 to 4 players with a playtime of about 30 minutes. Though I did find that most of my 2-player playthroughs went a bit longer than that. But join me as we go ahead and do this setup and how-to for the game Boss Monster. So before we begin, let's take a quick look at the components, or rather cards, that are going to come out during the course of play. Here we have the room deck. Within the room deck are room cards. There are essentially 4 types of room cards that will come out, as indicated in the upper left corner of the rooms. Monster rooms, advanced monster rooms, trap cards, and then, of course, advanced trap cards as well. The silver background behind them indicates these are normal rooms. The gold background behind their icons indicate an advanced room. In the lower right of all the cards are the treasure types, which lure the different heroes. We have the cleric symbol, the fighter symbol, the mage symbol, and the treasure for the thief symbol. In the lower left of all the cards are the room health, or rather the damage that will be done to any heroes venturing into these dungeons. And in the middle, any specific information about the rooms and how they can be played, whether it's a once per turn or an additional buff for a room. Here we have boss cards. Now, the boss cards are not considered rooms and do not deal damage, but they do have a treasure type to lure different heroes, and they are considered monsters. Additionally, each monster, as indicated here in the center, has a level up ability. We'll cover this a little bit later as well, but once you've built a 5th room in your dungeon, then you level up your monster and activate its ability. In the lower left is the experience. The monster with the highest experience goes first on the turn. Spell cards. During the game, you'll be able to take spell cards, which come in 3 types. Either both, which can be used in either the action or the adventure phase, in just the action phase, as indicated by the hammer, or in just the adventure phase, as indicated by the axe. On each of the spells, there will be text that indicates how they may be used and if there's any conditions that must be met to use them. And lastly, we have the hero cards. We have normal heroes, as indicated by their silver backgrounds, and epic heroes, as indicated by their gold backgrounds. On each of the cards, in the upper right is their type or class, and they will be lured to dungeons that carry those types of treasures. In the lower left indicates their health. You'll notice the epic heroes have much higher health. In the lower center is the number of players to use these cards. So during setup, which I'll show you in a moment, we'll take out any cards that we're not going to use for our play. And in the lower right of each card indicates the damage done if they survive the dungeon and reach the boss. And in the center, just some fun text to read at your leisure about the different hero. So to begin setup, we want to first prepare the hero decks, both the regular and epic hero decks. In this 2-player game, we are only going to select cards that have the 2-player icon. So we are going to then discard back to the box all the 3 and 4-player heroes and epic heroes. These will not be used in a 2-player game. If playing a 3-player, make sure to keep in any of the 3-player icons. So once you've set up your hero decks to only include the types of heroes for your play count, deal each player 1 boss card, 5 room cards, and 2 spell cards. Additionally, you want to set up the remaining decks similar to what I have here, with the epic hero and the hero deck next to one another, and then the room deck and the spell deck off to the side. Leave room wherever you can for a discard pile of the room and spell decks, But the heroes, when drawn, will need to fill up this area. As they get put out there, you may need to shift the decks to the side if too many heroes will be left out at any given time. Then of the starting hand, the 5 room cards and the 2 spell cards, each player will then discard 2 of them, 2 of their choice. So they should go through their cards and decide which of the 2 they don't want to keep. So I'll say discard these 2 cards. Once complete, you're ready to begin the next setup. That would be for the classic mode setup. If not playing that more classic or advanced setup, all players would keep their original 5 and 2 cards dealt. Next, each player is going to choose a room to build next to their monster. Rooms are built from the monster from right to left, because the heroes that come out will venture from left to right through your dungeon. Advanced dungeons, as indicated with the gold icon in the upper left corner, may only be placed on normal room types that share the same treasure type symbol. And we'll cover that a little bit more in detail in just a moment. So to begin setup, let's go ahead and put out our first room. Just place the room right next to your monster. And once you've built your room, draw 2, or rather draw the number of heroes equal to your play count. Once complete, setup is complete, and then you're ready to begin play. So the sequence of play, at the beginning of each round, the number of heroes are going to be revealed equal to the number of players. In initial setup, we've already revealed our first 2 heroes, so that's ready to go. Next, you're ready for the build phase. Or rather, once those heroes are revealed, each player may then draw 1 card from the room deck and bring it into their hand. Then you're ready for the build phase. Here's where each player may build 1 room or use a spell, as indicated here, that is applicable for the build phase if they choose. So during this turn, you get to choose from your hand to build 1 room, keeping in mind that what you're trying to do is court these heroes into your dungeon. So what we have out here now is a cleric and a fighter, and I have a cleric symbol, and our opponent has a thief symbol. So they're trying to court initially treasure guys. So here, I will be able to court this guy into my dungeon. He has a total of 8 health, so I might want to try to kill him, but nothing I do is really going to accomplish that, so I'm probably going to take damage. But for the sequence of play in the build phase, I will go ahead and build this Neanderthal cave. Again, you're building from right to left. Once each player in XP order has resolved their build phase and chosen to build a room, keep in mind you do not have to build a room, then you're ready to begin the bait phase, which is then attracting the heroes into your dungeon. So I have 1 cleric symbol and 1 fighter symbol. My opponent only has a thief symbol, and let's say they also played a fighter symbol. So I would be able to lure the cleric into my dungeon, so I would take him and put him to the far left of my dungeon. The fighter, since we were tied, would remain in town since we both had 1 fighter symbol. There we go. Once that has been completed, you're now ready to move into the adventure phase. Here in the adventure phase, you can then activate any spell cards, as many as you would like, that are available and applicable during the adventure phase. In the adventure phase, heroes are going to travel through your dungeon, again from left to right, taking damage along the way. So what does that look like? So this hero with 8 health is going to begin traversing my dungeon. He's going to start here at the first dungeon, taking 3 damage as indicated by the room. So now he only has 5 hit points remaining. Then he's going to come into the next room, the succubus spa, and this says, once per turn, if a hero dies in this room, I may choose an opponent. Take a random room or spell card from the opponent's hand. but clearly this person is not dying in this room today. So they have 5 hit points. Now they're taking 1 more damage and they have 4. Now they've reached my boss. Well, you don't immediately die, but instead this card would be put off to the side of your hand over there, face up, showing the wound marker. And this is important because the end conditions are, at the end of a turn, a player that has 5 wounds immediately loses. Or a player that has successfully killed the hero, you would flip it over, and as indicated here in the lower section, they have a soul. The first player that has 10 souls is the winner. You'll also note that epic heroes are worth 2 souls towards victory. So in this example, this monster made its way through my dungeon and was not killed, so I would put him to the side, face up, indicating that I've taken 1 of 5 wounds. Once I've resolved my dungeon, then the next player in XP order would resolve their dungeon and any heroes that were lured or baited into them. Then the turn ends, and you will start the sequence of play from the beginning again. What that looks like again is revealing heroes equal to the number of players. Now, it is important to always try to keep these heroes in order that they were exposed, because that is also the order at which they will go into a specific dungeon. So this is very important that they are kept in such a way that they're always traversing outward. So once the heroes have been revealed, each player would draw 1 card from the room deck into their hand, and then you're ready to begin the build phase once again. Again, each player would play 1 build card if they choose, and any spell cards that are applicable during the build phase. A couple of nuances or really fine points to keep in mind and maintain. In the town, heroes will continue to be revealed until they are lured into a dungeon. So you could conceivably have 10 heroes out here at any given time, and then a player, once a tie is broken to court them, would all pile in to one specific dungeon if one player happened to win them all. Additionally, once you've built, let's see here, your 5th card, I'm going to need another normal, there we go. Once you've built your 5th room in your dungeon, you can level up. My power is to choose 2 cards from the discard pile and put them in your hand. This only happens once per game at the time the 5th room is built. Additionally, you can overbuild or to build advanced rooms, the gold icons. Advanced rooms may only be built on top of normal rooms of any type that share a symbol of the advanced room. So this Lion's Den, it's a mage type room, and I don't have any mage symbols, so I would not be able to build this advanced room. However, this Beast Menagerie, a fighter symbol, is an advanced room, and I have a couple. So here, I could then, on my build phase, build this over this room. Another thing to keep in mind that during the course of play, rooms can be destroyed. So in this example, anytime a room is covered, it is no longer an active room. But anytime a room is destroyed, the room under it now becomes an active room. Unless it is destroyed, then you only have, say, 4 rooms in your dungeon. But keep in mind that once you build that 5th room, you do not activate your level up again. You can build over any of your normal rooms at any time with any other normal cards, regardless of their treasure type. So this Brainsucker Hive, I could place over any of these rooms. They do not need to match. Additionally, let's say, for example, I had this Beast Menagerie here. If I so choose, a normal room can be placed over even an advanced room, regardless of treasure type. So what you want to keep in mind here is that normal rooms, ordinary rooms, can be built on top of any room. Advanced rooms, as indicated by the gold, may only be built on top of rooms that share its treasure icon. So those are the fine sort of nuances to the game, keeping in mind that heroes will continue to come out no matter if they go into a player's dungeon or not. Additionally, anytime you need to activate things, it is always resolved in XP order. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. I am going to go ahead and tear down, or rather, collect the cards and put them back into the box, and then stay tuned, and I'm going to bring you guys my afterthoughts. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that setup and how-to for the game Boss Monster. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. First, tackling the components. Well, I've said this about other games in the similar breadth or genre of just a card game, is that it's a card game, and there's a lot of cards. The quality of the cards is okay enough, but in my number of playthroughs, it's already starting to get a little bit worn down, and so that concerns me a little bit. But regardless of that, and all of that put aside, the art on the cards is so nostalgic. And that's kind of actually why I wore this shirt for this video, is because it's got that retro feel and it's really well executed. So huge, thanks, bravo, accolades, props to the guys here that designed the artwork and laid it out, because it really captured that 8-bit essence, if you will. So with that, let's tackle the game and the gameplay itself. My biggest gripe about the game was there were a lot of unclear instructions initially in the rulebook. And I did have to turn to BGG in some of the early plays to get those answers that I needed. One is when you're pulling out cards equal to the number, or heroes equal to the number of players. If you look at the graphic inside the rulebook, it really doesn't say where those next heroes need to go, because it kind of looks like you've got a specific play area, and you almost assume, and at least I did on my first playthrough, that the new heroes go on top of the old heroes. And that was just not the right way to do it. So I hope that my nuanced information in the how-to really helped you guys out with something as simple as that, because it matters a lot. The other thing was the verbiage behind the any room. You can put a regular dungeon room over an advanced dungeon, and it doesn't have to match, because those can be on any of them. The only thing that applies is the advanced. So, with all that, again, it's really well done mechanically, but the rulebook left quite a bit of factor in there. And even the quick start guide throws in some of the kind of advanced rules, or the rule changes that are not in the initial setup of the rulebook. So if there's ever a reprint, if they ever redo this, I really, really hope that the guys can streamline or tackle that instruction book, just to, I guess, make things a bit clearer, as well as tackling some of the other items that I said. So why is this a game that you may want to add to your collection? Well, because it plays pretty good as almost a card battle 2-player game. Now, while you're not necessarily battling one another's cards, MTG style, there are a lot of take that cards to really set the other player's dungeon back. In higher player counts, 3 and 4, yes, you've got more variety, but it's also a little disconnected. So I would definitely recommend this for 2-player for sure, because it's really well done. Why is this a game you may not want to add to your collection? Well, because as nostalgic and fun as it is, and as simple of a game as it really is, there was just too many little things that I had to go to third-party resources to clarify on. So if you're annoyed by a game that isn't just straightforward and clear, stay away at least from this one. But otherwise, guys, it's actually a really nice, quick, fun card game. So that'll do it for this one. If you have any questions yourself about Boss Monster, now I haven't played any of the others, so I can't really comment there. This is the only version that I own. But if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it down below. Happy to help out in any way that I can. If you've enjoyed the video and you like the content, I really do appreciate the support. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, everyone, until next time, thanks so much for watching.